What's up, y'all? It's AngeloTangelo, and today we're doing something completely different, not even gaming related. We're doing a cooking video. Today we're making spaghetti with meat sauce, my personal recipe. So let me know if you enjoy the following.
Alright, the first thing we're going to do is get our 1 pound of ground beef and 3 hot Italian sausage links. I have them already pre-prepared and out of their casing. Let's go ahead and mash those up. It should look something like this when it's done. Gross. Then take some granulated onion or onion powder and sprinkle some around evenly over the meat mixture. Do the same thing with some black pepper and a little bit of garlic salt as well. Go ahead and give it a good stir. After browning the meat, it should look something like this. And then drain out any excess grease and fat. Now we're going to be reusing this same colander later on to drain the water out of our pasta, so be sure to rinse it out with hot water later on. It looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and give it a good shake. Get all that grease out of there. Nasty.
Don't actually do this in your sink. It could clog up your pipes with the grease. But hey, we're stupid.
Then go ahead and return that mixture back into the same pot. And of course, rinse out your colander with hot water so we can reuse it later for the pasta. Make sure it's nice and clean. It should look something like that. But you know how to do that. Then take 2 24-ounce cans of pasta sauce. We're using the Hunt's garlic and herb pasta sauce and the roasted garlic and onion sauce because I've never had it and I wanted to try it. And a 6-ounce can of tomato paste. And while putting the contents of the cans into the meat mixture here, make sure that you have it on low heat the entire time.
You can also use fresh tomato puree if you so choose. We're not doing that today, even though I do have a juicer. I could probably do that. We're just being a little more quicker with the pre-canned tomato pasta sauce. And this is always the challenge with the tomato paste, trying to get it out of the can.
And then you're going to chop and dice some red onion, about 2 to 3 tablespoons worth, about what I have here. And we're not actually going to use the knife because we have a special tool here. It's by Cuisinart or Cuisinart, whatever it is, a stainless steel chopper. Check this out. Easy. That's a lot more than 2 or 3 tablespoons. And then go ahead and stir that around so the onion gets nice and soft while it cooks. And now for the fun part. We get to start adding seasonings. You're going to need granulated garlic, minced garlic, unless you have garlic cloves that you want to mince yourself, grated Parmesan cheese, fresh or pre-made like this, more garlic, which is garlic salt, granulated onion or onion powder, some dried chives, or fresh chives if you have them, Italian seasoning, oregano, some white pepper, a little bit of parsley flakes, and if you like it a little bit spicy, a little bit of ground cayenne pepper wouldn't hurt.
We're gonna actually use the cayenne pepper and just put a little bit in there. That's it.
And remember, all the while we're putting these ingredients in here, make sure it's on very low heat, or simmer if your stovetop has that feature, because we're gonna let it cook for quite a while. First up, we have a little bit of minced garlic here. Because it's in water, I've got like a fork here, and I'm just gonna strain out the water. That's a lot more garlic than I wanna use. I'd say about 2 or 3 cloves of garlic if you're using cloves. Put that right in there. Next we have 1½ tablespoons of the grated Parmesan cheese, or shredded if you have it. So let's go ahead and put that in there. There's the one. And because I don't want to dirty up another spoon, that's about half. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in there. 1½ table Parmesan. So my personal recipe here calls for a teaspoon of chives, and I'm just gonna throw in what I think is about a teaspoon. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? And then we have a ½ tablespoon of the garlic salt. This is where it gets a lot of its flavor from, and that's about half, so here we go. Next we have 1½ tablespoon of the granulated garlic, or garlic powder, whatever you have. That's one there, and we love garlic, so there's our half. There we go, 1½ tablespoons. 1¼ granulated onion. And there's the one. And again, without dirtying it up another spoon, that's about 1/4. So there we go, 1¼ tablespoon granulated onion. 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And that's where we get the flavor from. And I forgot to mention this before, but we do need a ½ tablespoon of oregano as well. So let's go ahead and, oh, I grabbed too much. There we go, that's about half, so estimate it. And we have a dash of white pepper. I'm just gonna put a little bit in there. It's kind of whatever you want. You don't even have to use it if you don't want, but that's what my recipe calls for. And then last we have the parsley flakes, and just sprinkle a little bit around. It doesn't come out very well in this container, so yeah, just sprinkle some around there, not bad. Go ahead and give that beautiful mixture a stir. Okay, if you have a top for your saucepan here, go ahead and put that on. This is apparently a Dutch oven pot, which has a little bit of room to breathe in there. If you don't have a saucepan with a lid, tinfoil will work just fine, just cover it. We're gonna cook this for about an hour, maybe a little bit longer if you want the meat to really soak in to the flavor of the sauce and get nice and thick. If you don't like the thicker sauce, you can just skip the can of tomato paste and maybe just add about 6 ounces of water to compensate for that lost can of paste. Remember to come out and stir this every 20 minutes to a half hour, so about once or twice throughout the duration of this 1 hour, and we'll come back and check on it.
1 hour later.
So let's go ahead and take the top off here.
Oh, that smells awesome.
So you can see that the sauce is nice and thick now. So we're gonna leave the heat on low. So this will be about the second and possibly last time that I'm stirring this before we actually finish the dinner here. And now we're gonna begin to boil the pasta. You can add a little bit of salt to the water to help it boil quicker too.
Once the water for your pasta is beginning to boil, go ahead and add 1 pound of spaghetti noodles. If you're feeding a larger family, you can use 2 pounds. And if you can find a Smart & Final nearby, I would very much recommend the First Street brand that they sell. It comes in a 2 pound package. Where is it? There you go. 2 pound package. I split these up into 1 pound, so I have a plastic bag here with about 1 pound of spaghetti noodles, or pasta rather.
And yes, you can break the noodles in half. It makes it a lot easier to fit into the pan. This is always a frustrating part for me because I like the longer pasta, and I don't have another saucepan that is any bigger than this, other than the one that I'm using for the sauce right now. So, kind of sucks. That's all I have.
Also, you can use linguine, rigatoni, penne, whatever you want to use. You can use the same sauce for lasagna, manicotti, whatever you want. But today, we're doing classic spaghetti pasta. And in a moment here, we're about to find out how it all turned out. So stick around for that while we boil the pasta. Now, I like to stir the pasta so it doesn't sit around on the bottom for too long, because it may get stuck and it may burn depending on what kind of pasta you're using, and that's just depending on the pan as well, or the pot rather, saucepan. And I like my noodles a little softer, so I'm gonna cook this probably for close to about 10 minutes, something like that. But you know, you can always feel it with the spoon here, and you know, whatever your liking is.
And after your pasta is done boiling, go ahead and shut off the stove, and then strain out the excess water. Oh yeah. Return the noodles to the same pot.
Now, one thing that my mother has taught me is you don't want to use butter when you butter the noodles. Well, we're going to use sauce to butter the noodles. And that will definitely help when you have leftovers. Don't put too much, about 3 of those spoons, and then mix it up. When you have leftovers, when you put this in the fridge, all the noodles are going to stick together, because when butter gets cold, it gets, you know, it clumps up, and it's going to stay onto the noodles, and it's going to be very difficult to dish out. Whereas the sauce sort of does the same thing, except it will never harden like butter. Just a little trick my mother has taught me. She's taught me very well. Shout out to you, Mom. I love you. And now, of course, we get to put things together. I've already put the pasta on here. Let's go ahead and put our sauce on top, and we're getting ready to eat. Here we go. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. There's our spaghetti with meat sauce. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Let me know what you thought of the recipe down in the comments below. Maybe you used it for something else. Maybe you used it for lasagna, manicotti, whatever. I don't know if I'd recommend it for pizza sauce, because I don't think it's the same kind of sauce. This was my very first cooking video, so I hope it went over well. Again, let me know down in the comments. If you're new to the channel, I usually do gaming videos and don't do a lot of cooking stuff, but maybe if this goes over well, I might do some more recipes, who knows? So just remember to like the video if you did like it, and subscribe for more gaming videos and possibly more cooking videos. On next week's show, I'll show you how to turn an aluminum can into gold. Until then, take it easy.